tab, models.char field. Inside this max underscore len equal to 100. This means we are using the char field here. The char field is basically using for short text like name or title, and then we pass the length for the name is maximum length will be 100 character. On the next line, the next field is price from models.float field. This float field is basically used for numeric values with decimal like price 10.00. After that we have a field description, and we define this using models.text field. We want to store the description using text field. So the longer text field will be used for the longer text like our product details. That's why we for the description field we use text field. We assume that our description for the product details will be longer. That's why we use text field, not the char field. After that, in underscore stock, this field models.boolean field default equal to true. We define in underscore stock fields as a boolean field. Boolean means yes or no, true or false values here to show availability. After that we have this def underscore str underscore, then we pass self. So this is basically a magic method or a special method in Python. Underscore str underscore, this is a magic method or a special method in Python. We define what should be shown when the object is printed. So this is a magic method basically, and that defines what should be shown when the object is printed. When you view the object in the Django admin or console, it will display the student name like Ali instead of student object 1. So this helps makes the admin panel and debugging more readable. That's why we use here. So let's repeat all of this code one more time. On first line, from Django.db import models. I explain again this and revise this again because this is the core concepts of Django REST framework and Django when you work with Django or Django REST framework. So from Django.db import models, this lines basically imports Django models module which contains classes and tools to create database models. And by using this we import models, we use models.model. This models.model is basically the base class you will inherit to define your own database tables like student or product. In this case we define the product. After that we have a class product models.model. We are basically creating a new class called student which represents a database table for storing student record, for storing products record. It inherits from models.models, which tells Django this class is model and should be converted into a database table. After that we have a field name. We have a field name models.char field max length equal to 100. Name is a field in the database like a column in an SQL. Models.char field is used for short text string name or titles. That's why we use char field here instead of text field. And then the max underscore length equal to 100 means it will allow a maximum of 100 characters. This field will store the student's name and in the product name like smartwatch. And then we have a price models.float field. The float fields allow us to store numbers like 3.5 or 4.5 like 3.6 or something else 4.8. So to store these values we use float feed for the price. I hope this will make sense for you. After that we have description to store the long text, that's why we use text field. After that we have boolean field to store in stock, means this product and the smartwatch, let's say the smartwatch is in stock, then we pass yes if this is in stock. By default this will be true. So boolean means yes or no. In Python we use true or false for the boolean field. If the product exists, then we use true, means this exists in the product table, this specific product. And then we have a special method or a magic method. I hope this will make sense for you. This is just for debugging. This magic method in Python that defines what should be shown when the object is printed. When you view the object in the Django admin or console, it will display the product name, like say our smartwatch instead of product object 1. This help makes the admin panel and debugging more readable. After creating our models, then it's time to run some commands. Python manage.py make migrations. Why this command? We need this. After defining our models, why we are going to run this? Let's understand. The Python manage.py make migration. In simple words, this command tells Django check if I have created or changed any models and prepare a migration file so I can later apply these changes to the database. So here we created the models and we tells Django and prepare a migration file for us so I can later apply these changes to the database. Run this command. Let me comment this line in my urls.py. May not create anything still in views, that's why we are getting error. So let me run again this, and we have to also comment in our project urls.py. Inside this we have to comment this as well, just for to run our migrations. Then we will uncomment this. As you see, create model product. This command is basically Django basically looks at our models product, adds our model product. So Django basically looks at the model product. It sees we added a new model product. It creates a file like inside. Let me show you. Inside migration we have 001 initial.py. This file is like a recipe that says create a new table called product with fields name, price, description and in stock. So after that we have another command, Python manage.py migrate. We have to run this command. Why this command? After Python manage.py make migration, we are usually use this one, Python manage.py migrate. Why this command? Basically Django reads the migration file. This is our migration file which created due to this command. Say okay. After running this command we get this migration file. So to implement this migration, Django basically When we run this command, Django basically reads the migration file, this one. Then it creates the actual table in your database. Your database now has a real table called product with the column you defined. Let me run this command. As you see, migration is applying. So now we successfully created a database, a real table called product with columns we define the name, description, and so on. So basically the make migration prepares instruction based on models change are created, as you see here. So the make migration command prepares instruction based on model changes are created, and the migrate applies those instructions to our real database. I hope this will make sense for you. Let's imagine you are building a house. The make migration is basically like you draw a new room on the blueprint, and the migrate you actually build the room in your house. Please keep in mind this one thing: every time you change your models.py. Whenever you change models.py, then you have to definitely run python manage.py make migrations, and then python manage.py migrate. Welcome back everyone. This is our session 2. The name is Django. Maximum length will be 100 character. On the next line, the next field is price. Framework course. From models. Today we will learn how to use function-based views to create APIs, and then how to make get, read, and post for create API endpoints, and how to send and receive JSON data using DRF. We will continue from our last session and start building our e-commerce backend step by step. Let's revise what we learned in the last class. In the last class, we learned what is DRF. In the last class, we learned what is DRF. Let me show you. What is DRF? Django REST Framework is a powerful library that helps you to create RESTful APIs in Django easily. Here question arises: what is REST? REST is nothing but stands for representational state transfer. REST is a way basically for a client to talk to a server using HTTP method like get, post, put, delete to perform actions on data. And then we learn about serializer. Serializer is nothing but to convert Django model to JSON data. And then we learn about models. Let me show you models.py of my app. We learn about models. This model is basically define the structure of our database, how the database table looks like, how the columns are there. Inside this we have a student model, and inside this we have name, roll number, and GPA. And after that we apply the decorator API view. This decorator makes a function into an API endpoint. So today's session is building product API for the e-commerce app, and we will now build a powerful build a product API with post and get methods. Let's create a new project. Let me close each and everything. Save, close. So here you see API project and here. So to build a new project in Django, first of all, I have to activate my virtual environment. To activate my virtual environment, the command is py-m venv. So the command is Python or the short form py. If you not write all the Python word, so py. Welcome back everyone. This is our session 2 of our Django REST framework course. Today we will learn how to use function-based views to create APIs, and then how to make get, read and post for create API endpoints, and how to send and receive JSON data using DRF. We will continue from our last session and start building our e-commerce backend step by step. Let's revise what we learned in the last class. In the last class, we learned what is DRF. In the last class, we learned what is DRF. Let me show you. What is DRF? Django REST Framework is a powerful library that helps you to create RESTful APIs in Django easily. Here question arises, what is REST? REST is nothing but stands for representational state transfer. REST is a way basically for a client to talk to a server using HTTP method like get, post, put, delete to perform actions on data. And then we learn about serializer. Serializer is nothing but to convert Django model to JSON data. And then we learn about models. Let me show you models.py of my app. We learn about models. This model is basically define the structure of our database, how the database table looks like, how the columns are there. Inside this we have a student model, and inside this we have name, roll number and GPA. And after that we apply the decorator API view. This decorator makes a function into an API endpoint. So today's session is building product API for the e-commerce app, and we will now build a product API with post and get methods. Let's create a new project. Let me close each and everything. Save, close. So here you see API project and here. So to build a new project in Django, first of all, I have to activate my virtual environment. To activate my virtual environment, the command is py-m venv. So the command is Python or the short form py. If you not write all the Python word, so py-m venv. This will activate your virtual environment. Let me wait. As you see, our virtual environment is created successfully. Now it's time to activate our virtual environment. cd inside virtual environment cls cd scripts, then activate. As you see, I am using the command line interface. using Visual Studio, and my virtual environment is activated successfully. Now it's time to install some libraries to work with Django REST framework. As you know, I just create a new virtual environment uh, to show off all and each and everything to you, how the Django REST framework works and what are the needs to work with Django REST framework. So for that I create a virtual environment from scratch and then I activate. So I have to go 2 folders back. So I come back to my Django REST framework. Here, let's confirm the Django installed or not in this virtual environment. To check the version of Django in virtual environment, we have a command pip show Django. This will show you the Django current version which I am using after install. So I am using 5.2.4. So I installed this Django version. After that we have to confirm one more thing, pip show Django REST framework. So we have to confirm the version of Django REST framework. Pip show Django REST framework not found, misspelling, due to misspelling, Django REST framework. So currently I am using 3.16.0. So our Django and Django REST framework is installed in virtual environment. Now it's time to create our project. To create a project, we have a command Django admin start project, and our project name will be. Before creating a project, I want that to make a simple directory, make mkdir e-commerce API. By using this command, this will create another new directory with this name, mkdir e-commerce directory. As you see, I'm getting a new directory. So after that, cd e-commerce API, then here Django admin start project, and project name is API project. So this is the command to create a new project inside this. As you see, I am getting a new folder API project inside my e-commerce API project. This is our API project. So our project is created successfully. Now it's time to create some app inside this project. To create an app, I have to go inside Django cd and API project. So I want that to make an app inside e-commerce underscore API project folder. So Python manage.py start app. Let me do this side, and here after that start app API. So this is the command Python or Py. You will use both. Py for the short form for the Python. Py manage.py start app API. API is our app name, and this is our command to create an app. So this will create an app for this e-commerce API project. So I hope all the things are clear till now. If you are new on this channel, don't forget to subscribe and like. So let's continue. Clear my terminal. After creating the project and app, Now it's time for the coding part. For the coding part, first of all, I will open this settings.py. After that, inside installed app list, I am going to use our app name is API, and we are using what? We are using REST underscore framework. Our app name is API, and we are going to use REST framework for this Django REST project. So for that, I add this in settings.py. This is the first step after creating the project and app. We are working with Django REST framework. That's why I use here REST underscore framework, and an API is our app name. So after that, let me open the urls.py. So inside this you will see something. I'm going to copy each and everything from here, and I will come back here in my app folder, new file, urls.py. Here I will paste each and everything. No need of admin, clear this, and no need of this. So we will create on. Save this. Let me open my own urls.py inside project here, and here after path include, and here path, then API. After that, include api.urls. So basically I am going to include the app. Inside this app we have urls.py. Save this, the project.py, and inside urls.py I am going to create one route here. Let's say products. We are going to build products, and we have to create some view for this, and the view name will be product list create. So save this file. Till now we just define the things like a structure. We define we create a project, we create an app, then we create a urls.py for our app, and we want on the products product underscore list create view. To create this, we have to write some code inside our views.py of our app, and we also set our project urls.py for this app. I hope everything is clear till now. Now it's part for actual coding start for this project. As you know, when you want to create some views, you have to definitely define some models, and then on the base of this model you will create a view to create and save and delete and update everything according to models. So we have models.py in our app API. Inside this I am going to create class product and models.model. After that, name model.char field, max length will be, let's say, 100. I will explain each and everything. Don't just focus on code what I am writing. Price models dot float field, and default is nothing. Clear this, and then description for our project for product. models dot, this will be text field, and this will also empty, nothing inside this. And then we have in stock, in underscore stock, and this will be models dot boolean, models dot boolean field, and by default I will pass default equal to true. So we have 4 fields for the product model till now. So after that I am going to create one underscore str self. Let me explain the whole code, then I will explain each and everything. Basically in this file from Django.db import models, this line basically imports Django built-in models module. Models is nothing but a module, and we import this from Django.db. After that, and we import this module to create database table using Python classes. That's why I import this module, the models. And from this module, models.model, this, think of models.model as the base class for all the database models in Django. The models.model is the base class for all database models in Django. And after that our model name is product. This line, basically this defines a new database table called product using models.model, the base class for all the database model in Django. So our model name is product, and this model is basically inherit from models.model, which gives it all the ORM power. This models.model gives it all the ORM power to this model product. Now we add all the fields. Fields are nothing but a columns to the table. So these fields are like, understand it like a columns for the table. So this, the product is like, product is, let's say this is our table, and inside table we have columns. So our table name is product, and our column names are name, price, description, and in underscore stock. So I hope these are clear. Now understand what I did here. From models.char field, our column name is name. In the databases we say the name is column, but we define a class in Python and we say here the field, same like the column, but this is field. So models.char field max underscore length equal to 100. The models.char field means it will store short text like a string. We will store like a string of 100 character length. So that's why models.char field I am using here. The char field will help us to store short text. Let's say to store the product name, for the API views. Let me open my views.py of our app. Our app name is API and our project name is API project. So let me open this, and here I have to write some code for our project and for our API views. So here first of all I'm going to import Uh, these are the by default imports from REST underscore framework import dot decorators import API views. After that, from REST underscore framework dot response import response. So now after importing all these, so here question arises why I import this from REST framework dot decorators import API view. Basically, API underscore view is a decorator from Django REST framework we will use in this code. It runs a regular function into a view that can handle API requests like get, post, put. That's why I import API view. After that, I import from REST underscore framework dot response import response. Response is a special object from DRF Django REST framework used to return data in a proper JSON format. That's why I import both these. So after that, I have to import from dot. Dot means in this directory we have a models.py. From models import product. Our 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 model name is product inside models.py. After that, from dot. So after all this, I'm going to create one view using API view, and here I am going to write two methods of HTTP. One is get, and then next one is post, get and post. Our function name will be product underscore list underscore create. This will take request. If request dot method equal to get, if the request method is get, that I want product dot objects dot all, and then return what, using response of Django REST framework, the products. Let me activate my virtual environment. cd script activate. As you see, our virtual environment is activated for Django REST framework project. I have to go to folder back, cd. Now I come back to my Django REST framework. Here our project name is cd API project. This is our project. Now I want to run my server. Before running server, we need create super user to get the access for the admin to add some data by using the Django admin interface. So the command is to create super user, Python or Py. It's up to you if you use the full Python or if you use Py. Both are working perfect. So Python manage.py, let me manage.py create super. Our project name is e-commerce API. Here I have to run two commands, Python manage.py run server. Let me run my server. As you see, we are successfully run our project, Django project, and the by default IP address is 127.0.0.1. This is the IP and the 8000 is the port for Django by default. Let me copy this and I paste it in Google browser, Google Chrome, and you see the install worked successfully. I am getting this page. So our Django project is run successfully, but we not see anything here. So to enter some data in our product model, Django provide the admin interface. So let me check the admin interface. The command is after 8000/admin. This will redirect when you hit on this page. Here you will provide your super user credentials here. Let me write some credentials. Admin login. Yes, I want this response. Please enter the correct username and password for a staff account. Note that both fields may be case sensitive. So why I am getting this? Because I not created any super user for our e-commerce project. So we have to create our super user. Then we will provide the credentials for super user here. Then we will log in. So to create a super user, we have a command here, clear my terminal, python manage.py create super user. Let me run this. This is the command to create super user. So I want the username for the super user admin, admin, admin. Yes. If you not provide email address just for testing, no issue. The password is mandatory and we provide the password admin and password again admin. These fields I'm not seeing here. So and bypass password validation and create user anyway. The password is too common and too short. The password is too similar to the username. We get this. So this is the beauty of Django. This will give you the option to secure your credentials for. So this is for testing, not for the production. For the production we will definitely create a strong password and we will provide email address and so on. So now it's time to run our server again. Python manage.py run server. Let me run this. Our server is running perfect. Now if I provide the credentials admin login, you will see I am getting the admin interface of Django project. So here I still not see our database, our table, the product table inside this. So to get the table inside admin interface of Django, we have to do some steps to show the this our model's product, this product model, this table inside our admin interface. This is our app. Inside this admin.py, so we have to write something. Admin.site.register, admin.register, then site, admin.site.register, and here from dot models import product, and I have to provide here product. So in this way, this is the manually way to register our model. This is the manually way to register our model with Django admin site. So after doing this, if I refresh this again, and you will see I am getting our table products here. So click on this. As you see, I am not getting any field. This is the point which I want to clear. When you define a models, you will never do this mistake. As you see here, after each field we provide commas. So we have to remove this. Why this? We have to remove this because when we provide this Django field will be turning to tuples from fields. That's why we are not see any field inside our admin interface. Never do this mistake. Let me save this again. As you see, I am getting my all fields here. Now I am going to add some product here. Smart watch. Price will be, let's say, 800. Description, some dummy text. Beautiful watch. In stock, yes, this is our boolean field in stock, and save this. As you see, I am getting the table API product has no column name. Why this when I click on save? Remember, I say one thing. Whenever you have to modify your models, that time you have to run two commands. One is python manage.py make migration, and one is python manage.py migrate. So we change here things and we not run our commands. So let me close my server. Python manage.py make migrations. So this is the point I want to show you. Run this. Here you see I am getting, it is impossible to add a non-nullable field description to product without specifying a default. This is because the database needs something to populate existing rows. Please select a fix, provide a one-off default now, or quit or manually define a default value in the models.py. So this is the beauty of Django. Whenever you use the text field, you have to provide some default values. So I am going to provide default value here. By default equal to no description provided. Let me save this, and if I run the to one, and if I run again this command, and you will see, so we have to provide, I provide the default name unnamed product. Let me save this, and if I run to again, and you will see I am getting again for the price. Why I am getting again and again this? If you remember, when we run on first time we not get anything. Why I am getting this? Because in our database we have rows, but we not provide any default values, and we are going again to run our migrations. So those rows which are already created, we have to provide some default values for those to apply the make migration successfully. For price, you have two ways to provide the default values. We use the second option for our two field name and description. Now I want the first option. Here you have to provide some value. Let me provide 0.0. Enter. As you see, add field description to product, add field in stock to product, add field name to product, add field price to product. So after that we have to run migrate. As you see, apply all migration on admin API auth content session, and we are successfully apply migration for our new file 002 product description product in stock and so on. So it's time to run our project again. Python manage.py run server, and you see our server is running. If I refresh this, continue, you will see smartwatch is added successfully. And if I add something new, unnamed product, new description provided, so here I have to provide something, and the name is, let's say the name is iPhone 15, the price is, let's say, this one, and the description, latest Apple smartphone with A17 chip, in stock, yes, and save. We have two products inside our product table, iPhone 15 and smartwatch. So after creating our view function product underscore list underscore create, so it's time to add inside our app. Let me uncomment all my this code. Product from dot views import product list view. Save this, and we have to update our project urls.py as well. Here, let me uncomment this, and as you see on our server, after 8000, if I provide this product underscore list underscore create, I am getting page not found 404. Why this? We have urls admin API, not the product underscore list underscore create, and this is also inside our views.py. So to get this endpoint, we have to use this API. After API, we have product underscore list underscore create, because we define API in our urls.py. And if I hit this, as you see, I am getting product underscore list underscore create. I am not getting page not found. The correct one is products. We have to provide here the products, and if I run this, error API products type error object of type product is not JSON serializer. Why I am getting this? Because we are getting the data. If I show you this views.py, I am getting all the product from our DB, and as a return we are providing response. So if I check this, and this data is not in JSON format, we have to convert this data to JSON format. We have a two-way.